and happy World Rainforest Day. So we are very, very happy to be here celebrating and sharing the work that we all do. Creative Action Institute is hosting the event. Thank you, Barbara from Ecologic Development Fund for suggesting this opportunity, and of course to Ewi from FOREP in Cameroon, to Mario from Ecologic in Guatemala, to Tulio in Peru from Secama, and we are going to hear about them briefly. Perhaps we can introduce ourselves. I see people doing that on the chat, which is great. We'd like to hear from you and where you are. So welcome everybody. As we were saying, Creative Action Institute, we catalyze community-driven solutions that advance gender equality and build a sustainable planet. How we do it, we invest our resources in building the capacity of grassroots leaders through training and coaching. We create opportunities to activate learning through local advocacy, and we offer platforms of peer exchange and sharing best practices, like the ones we're going to see today, using the art, the creativity, the community projects, and all of the advocacy tactics that we use previously with training and coaching, advocacy, and peer exchange to strengthen the organizations and the movements. And we are very happy now to share a little activity that we are gonna put in the chat. We are gonna share a Padlet with images. I'm gonna put it again for the people that just joined, and we will invite you to open that. And you are gonna see images. We are not gonna give you a lot of information about that because we would like for you to really think about words are the first thoughts that come to your head when you see those images. And you just need to type where it says add comment. You just add. We are gonna have 15 minutes for that. If we see that people write faster, we take 10 minutes. We understand that we are all very busy, but those are images from the 3 partners that are joining us today to share about the work they are doing in forest conservation and other topics as well. And can you all see the Padlet? So there we have the Padlet, and underneath each photograph, if you would like to add a comment, a word, a thought, something that comes to your head that is not describing what's going on, of course, but we would like to hear from you. What are the first thoughts that come to your mind? These are all from workshops, like I say, that we have been implementing with the 3 great partner organizations: FOREP from Cameroon, Ecologic from Guatemala, and Secama from Peru. And we will have the chance to hear from them after this activity, this short activity. Pops of color in the dust. I like that one. Well, I'm seeing most of the images have contributions. And these are all words that are very encouraging, and some of them are repeated, and that's good. Joy, creativity, youth involvement, encouragement, collaboration, and communication. It looks like you are all doing a great job, partners. Parece que estamos haciendo un buen trabajo, ¿eh? Porque las palabras así lo dicen. Hands and learning, using the resources given by nature, compartiendo conocimiento. Me encanta. Supportive community, success, éxito, teamwork, liderazgo, felicidad y orgullo, happiness and pride. Playful in nature. Well, these are all great images, and it was hard to pick only 4 per each project because we have a lot of great images that show really the whole process for our workshops that we call creative advocacy practicums, but we needed to limit ourselves, and time is up. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts. This is also very helpful for us. And if someone wants to share something else on the chat, welcome. You're welcome to do that. These are all great thoughts, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the activity. This is one of the activities that we use in our courses that is very effective. Also to have a debrief after all, and it's a very collaborative way to share ideas and express feelings as well. So, moving on with our agenda, we will have our first presenter, which is Ewi Lama from Forep, Cameroon, but actually Ewi today is in Denver, Colorado. So Ewi, would you like to introduce yourself first, or should we share the video? What would you like to do first?
Hello, Isa. Please, I think let's share the video first, and then I can introduce myself.
Okay. So Christian will share a video of, well, I can't say it. So,
You know, to answer this thing in 3 poles, okay? Come on. Environment. Let's start first. Environment. 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 First. First. Stop that. Environment. 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 Environment.
Thank you very much, Christian. I am Ewi Stephanie Lama. I am from Cameroon and from Forest Resources and People. Presently, I am in Denver, Colorado. I am taking a 6-week program on public policy and leadership. And it's actually a US government program known as the Mandela Washington Fellowship. So I'll be back in Cameroon by the 17th of July. I am an environmental and climate justice advocate working with forest resources and people and double as the administrative assistant for forest resources and people. So one of the greatest things we do is working with our eco clubs, so we call them, and we work with a community known as Mabeta New Layout, especially. There we have this eco club at Mabeta New Layout, which is in a government primary school. And the reason we chose this community was because Cameroon is going through some crisis known as the Anglophone crisis. And we've had a lot of people that have been displaced from communities around the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon. And I've moved to forest communities like the Mabeta community. And these people now, in order to get a living, they are posing a lot of issues on the forest. Deforestation is increasing. Landslides as a result of deforestation have come up, and the community is also facing a lot of floods. So lately, we realized that there has been a lot of encroachment into the forest as they are cutting down the forest to build their homes. They are establishing large portions of farmlands, and also they are cutting down certain species of trees, especially the mangrove species for their charcoal. And this is causing a lot of deforestation and degradation in the area. So working with the communities has been working on fine. However, we thought it would be a great way to work with the younger generation, because the impact of climate change this community is facing, the younger generation will face the brunt of it. And if we are not able to empower this generation today on the issues that are happening around climate change and degradation, deforestation, they might experience the same thing their families or their parents are facing right now. So that was when we initiated the Eco Club activities in the schools, which has been running for 2 years now. And we've been able to reach close to 500 children with our Eco Clubs. Presently, we were working with 110 of these children. I think Isabel wild at the number, because we had to scream to the top of our voice, shout when we are talking with these children, trying to pass the message of conservation, environmental protection to them. And in the period of April, from April 28th until I think like March 26th, we had the creative advocacy practicum, which we incorporated into our Eco Club activity. And this actually changed the nature of our Eco Club program, because at this point, a lot of creative art was brought into it. We did creative activities like landscapes, sounds. We did transforming limiting beliefs, the vision board, thinking hard. We brought in this giant storybook activities, and these children experience an aspect of art that they have not been experiencing when it comes to their normal educational life. I want to call to attention, first of all, that the Cameroon educational system is very traditional and does not give a platform for the students or the people to express themselves the way the creative advocacy practicum enabled us have these children express themselves. The teachers at the point came and they were asking us, how are you able to teach this message? How are you able to pass this message on to the children in a period of 1 month? And they were able to understand it, and they grasped the measure concept of the whole activities. And we let them know art was what helped us to be able to bring out the best from these children. From the first time when we started with the creative advocacy practicum, it was really crazy and strenuous for us. I mean, when we had our first coaching call with Isabel and Christian, we told them, these children cannot pick up the art. Like, they are not understanding anything. We don't understand what is happening. We presented a lot of artistic tools to them, and we are expecting them to pick up the items from this a wide range of tools. And they keep looking at us like, What are those? So it from the first day it was a little difficult bringing in the arts because these are children who don't get the privilege to see artistic stuff freely given to them, placed out, and they can just do whatever they want to do with it, use it to their fullest. And I'm very happy because when we had the coaching calls with Isabel and Christian, we were able to understand, okay, introduce these arts to these kids one at a time, because bringing all of these tools, all of these artistic materials to them made them feel like, whoa, this is overwhelming, and they can't handle it at the first view. So we decided to start using that method, and we started introducing just the materials we needed for a particular activity. And as time went on, we realized these children became more embedded in getting the art stuff that were needed for them to do what they had to do. And at the point, sometimes they will come asking us, where is this a material? Where is this material? We want to use this one. So it broadens their creativity. And you could see on the video we just Christian presented, they are the ones who actually made all the things they were wearing. And I will tell you, day one, they couldn't have done that. But when we went through several coaching calls and tried to bring in all the counsel, the advice that we had from Isabel and Christian during our calls, we realized that these children began to get more creative. Now they knew what art was all about. And I think in one of the pictures Isabel presented, you could see a beautiful picture of a house alongside a river. There is a garden. These kids actually brought out the concept, and we were just like, wow! So these children, you can be able to bring this out. We worked with them to in bringing out ideas on agriculture. They were able to establish their home garden. In more images we shared, you will see them developing, drafting bringing out their home garden in art on papers. I mean, when you look at their giant storybooks, you see some of them telling their stories using art. Some had to use different forms of art like drawing, painting, poem, poetry, drama, and lots more. Isabel, I haven't sent you the report yet, but for World Environment Day, these kids actually presented in dance and music for World Environment Day, and the people who were present at the community field, because we're using football as a means to mobilize communities to plant trees. So these kids, we had to bring them into play. And when they made their presentations, everyone at the field was like, how did they know this? How did they do this? And we're very proud to make them know that it was as a result of the creative advocacy practicum that they took part in for a full month period that enabled them to come out, and it sparked something in them. You could see the children presenting their dreams. When we brought the vision board, some of them were telling us, this is what I want to be, this is what I want to be, and they drew it out. And that makes them feel, we had moments of reflection, and these kids, it made them, they could be able to understand exactly where they were going to. I will want to confess, I didn't get that in school when I was going through my education, and I didn't really have a clear sense of direction about what I wanted to become when I was growing up. I knew somehow I wanted to be something, but I didn't know how I wanted to get to where I wanted to be. So I am very lucky, I would say, that by chance, the universe had to push me through to put me exactly where I wanted to be. And I look at this children, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy they are able to receive this privilege to know exactly where they are going to draw a picture of their future, and to be able to identify exactly, this is where I'm going and this is how I'm supposed to do to get there. What amazed us most, and this was the first advocacy campaign that happened in Limbe, the community where this creative advocacy practicum activity was actually taking place in. Limbe is a very conservative community, and um, as a result of the creative advocacy practicum, we had to do a final day for parade in the community. This has not been done before in Limbe. This was the first of its kind. And we needed to get a permit from the divisional officer. So when we went to the divisional officer and explained, this is what we want to do with the Anglophone crisis issue, bringing together people, making campaigns or parades on the streets has been very, very difficult, and people have hardly had permits on that. But when we presented the aspect to the divisional officer, he was asking me, he's like, whoa, we've never seen this. What does that, what is all that about? I told him it's about, we are bringing Israel to parade for climate change, to parade for the environment, to parade for environmental protection and this. And when I explained the whole idea to them, he was amazed, and immediately he gave us the permit to go ahead with parade. And this parade took place in the community such that the children designed their outfits, they designed their markers, whatever they needed for this parade. And now it was time for them to go out into the streets. First, they did a parade around their school, and this school is over 5,000 children. It has over 5,000 children. And the class I forgot to explain that we actually, since we had a class of 110 children, we needed to work with 30 children to make sure we pass on the best impact. And in the course of our work, we work with 30 children. And as time went on, we had to, Isabel, with these children, the 30 children had to pass on the message. We created a moment where these 30 children had to be able to tell the other children who were not part of the times we had to do a lot of art, what they have been learning, and pass on the message. So on the day of the parade, we did not only work with 30 children, we worked with 110 children. So all of them had to put their hands on deck. All of them got creative. All of them came out in their numbers, and we went across the school, parading from class to class, went into the community. We went to some of their homes that were very close to the school. We visited their parents, and we would stop in front of their homes, perform an art, maybe a poem, a drama, or something. These children had to do this. We went to the chief, and we had to also do some presentations at in front of his palace. And then we went to a place, the main junction, the entrance to the community. And there we had bike riders. I think there's a picture, you see a lady, a journalist who was there with us, and she was capturing the whole event. This event was presented on our local radio stations and also on the local TV station. So people had to know what was actually happening in this community. And the head teacher came. She actually paraded with us to the entrance of the community, and she took some beautiful photos with the children. And at the end of the parade, we had community members coming and asking questions. What is happening? What is actually happening? And we said we were not going to be the ones to explain what was happening. So we got some of the children to explain to community members what was actually happening. And of course, they understood the whole concept and the idea, and they explained what was taking place. We are parading for the environment. We are parading for climate change. We are parading for the earth. We are parading for nature. They had placards that presented, that had all of those writings on it, and they were able to explain it. This did not only impact these children, that they had to understand what climate change was, what deforestation was, what how they could go about reforesting the forests and the areas that have been degraded. It also brought out some boldness, confidence in them. These are children that some of them have never left the four walls of their classroom to express themselves in their communities, but they had the privilege to express themselves in their own space with arts bringing out the best in them. And they didn't feel ashamed, they didn't feel shy, they didn't feel embarrassed. They were able to express themselves at their best. And we are very grateful because this was what brought out the best in them. So the final thing we did for the parade was we had a campfire with the kids, and the campfire session was to bring them to reflect about the whole event, to reflect about what has been going on, the parade we had undertaken, the movement and all that. So our activities, we had this reflection moment, and we want to really appreciate the Creative Arts Institute for thinking that this was just the best for us, and of course it was, and this brought out smiles in the kids, and we look forward to more creative actions.
Thank you, Ewi. Thank you very much. I think you describe perfectly the CAP, the Creative Advocacy Practicum, and just in case, we would like to emphasize that the parade was a way of taking out of inside the school all of the reflection and analysis that we and the kids were doing in various topics, reforestation, climate change, and so on. So we would like to give a couple of minutes if someone has questions to Ewi. We are having Luisa. Luisa is writing a comment on the chat. And she has a question for you. Can you speak to the impact of the Creative Advocacy Practicum on the problem of deforestation? Will there be reforestation efforts as a result? With community members outside of the Eco Club participate?
Yay! Thank you so much, Luisa. This is a brilliant question. And yes, the whole idea within, the whole thing we are doing within the Limbe community is trying to create awareness, sensitize the community, creating awareness for what is happening, the impact, the effect of climate change, the impact of climate change, and how it is being caused, and then sensitizing them on what to do to be able to overcome this impact. And the Eco Club has been one of the greatest tools we've used for sensitization in the community. And after this creative advocacy practicum, we had a 1-week event that was organized. We called it Operation Greening Limbe Football for Trees. So that event, we actually mobilized 4 communities that are experiencing degradation, just like Mabeta, and Mabeta was part of these communities. So we brought together these communities to play football. And because we know Cameroon is a football country, and the only way to bring people together without a lot of pressure is football. And we are grateful because it's as a result of the creative advocacy practicum that this sparked up in our mind. We were at the project that is enabling us to do this is actually sponsored by the New England Biolab Foundation. And we mobilized these 4 communities. We had to plant the trees, but we did not know how to plant these trees. We had established a nursery of about 7,000 trees. So we needed to plant these trees, and our team could not have planted all the trees. So the football tournament brought out a lot of people, and we played football for 1 week. In the course of playing throughout the week, we had like 4 days playing football, and we had 3 days planting trees in different communities. So it is not just the school children planting trees, but we have the communities mobilized to plant trees. And presently, tree planting is still ongoing. One of the teams won, and since they won, we had to give them an obligation. you need to plant more trees. So we visited their community and planted more trees in their community. And we are having more plans to work, especially with the children, on reforestation issues. Since Forest Resources and People, where we are, has a nursery that we are working with, we hope to start a reforestation program with the kids, like fully engage the kids at the club in planting trees, so they understand the need for planting trees and not just talking about deforestation, but taking actions, because we've had a lot of talk, but we need a lot of action to be on the ground so that we can see that our talks are actually having impact in communities and in the world at large.
Thank you so much, Ewi.
Thank
We are
you.
very, very grateful of your participation today. And get ready, because as soon as you are going back to Limbe, we continue with the CAPs. We have the second part to implement. So we have to move on with the next presenter, which is Tulio Davila, which is in Iquitos, in Peru, from Secama. And we should share the video first, Christian, from our CAP last year, and then Tulio, vamos a presentar el video, Tulio, y después te damos el tiempo para que nos cuentes.
Ok, no hay problema.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me.
Thank you, Ewi.
Thank you.
In Brillo Nuevo, a community located in northern Peru, Julie Rojas grew concerned when she began to notice her community's chambira supply running out. While Julie's extensive conservation efforts have increased seedling count in her village, she continues to see that a lack of fiber supply is causing anxieties among indigenous artisans who rely on selling their chambira crafts to support their livelihood. Implementing creative methods and art-based approaches, Julie held a skill-building clinic in Brillo Nuevo for 30 attendees to increase community understanding, participation, and commitment to collectively address the protection of the Amazon rainforest. During this workshop, the participants explored different issues that surround Indigenous identity, as well as the central problems that arise as a result of the lack of chambira supply. Through participatory activities, the participants share their perspective on the problem at hand. They walk away with the goals to support reforestation through connecting artisans with land plots of chambira, create sanctions for people who are found stealing, and prohibit the overconsumption of chambira. Ajá. Bueno, Tulio, we gave you a lot of images. Así que ahora es tu turno. Cuéntanos.
Bueno, antes que nada, muy buenos días a todos los, tanto expositores como asistentes. Brevemente explico o comento un poco quiénes somos, en forma breve. Bueno, mi nombre es Tulio Dávila, actualmente soy el presidente de Amazon Ecologic. O sea, hasta hace muy poco éramos Secama, que es la institución fundadora en Estados Unidos, pero ya estamos como en una institución completa del Perú. Nosotros funcionamos en el Perú. Entonces, bueno, de las tareas que hacemos rápidamente como institución, que trabajamos acá en el país, es principalmente ver temas con las comunidades indígenas de la Amazonía, comunidades Bora, de la etnia Bora, etnia Huitoto, etnia Cocama, etnia Yagua, etc. Y dentro de eso trabajamos muchísimo con artesanía, brevemente. Trabajamos con artesanía, bastante con artesanía, apoyamos. Y dentro de todo este esquema de artesanías hechas con fibras naturales de chambira, lo que se mencionaba en el video, apoyamos muchísimo todo lo relacionado, llámese conservación, llámese reforestación, llámese cómo mejorar la independencia económica del artesano, cómo mejorar la economía familiar, el nivel y la calidad de vida en las comunidades. Dentro de los planes de trabajar con artesanía, hemos visto junto con CAI, junto con el Instituto de Acción Creativa, afrontar algunos problemas que presentan las artesanas al momento de trabajar y de realizar su producto. De los principales problemas que ellas encuentran, como mencionaba el video, es ver la forma de reforestación de la materia prima, que es la chambira. La chambira es una palmera de donde saca la fibra y con eso tejen de forma maravillosa. Es una gran habilidad que tienen para trabajar. Otros problemas que presentan propios de la comunidad son que siempre puede haber que un vecino, porque no tiene materia prima, roba a otro vecino. Entonces se dan los hurtos, se dan en que entren a parcelas que no son suyas, se dan los problemas de que derriban sus árboles. Los árboles de chambira, para cosechar, no necesitas derribarlos para cosechar la materia. Pero algunas personas, por obtener el producto que está muy alto, por obtener la fibra que está, para obtenerla está muy alto, vamos a ponerlo así, derriban el árbol. Entonces, todo un problema. Y entonces, atendiendo a estos problemas, la reforestación, cómo mejorar su relación en la misma comunidad para que la chambira perdure, sea de forma sostenible, hemos visto, oiga, vamos a realizar talleres de cómo tocar estos temas de forma creativa, de forma amena, de forma que los participantes puedan tener algunas respuestas, a lo mejor obtener respuestas. En el video se mencionaba a mi compañera Julie Rojas, ella es la coordinadora de artesanía. Estos últimos 10 años, por mi lado, ella tiene más en la institución, hemos estado trabajando con comunidades. Así que fuimos y comenzamos estos talleres. En el taller se enfocó la forma en que podrían hacerse esas preguntas, las preguntas difíciles. O sea, ¿cómo enfrento el hecho de que mi vecino robe mi chambira? ¿O cómo puedo ver que a futuro mi materia prima, mi chambira, perdure? ¿Cómo puedo reforestar? ¿Cómo puedo asegurar que voy a tener árboles en el futuro? Y bueno, en el video se mencionó un poquito, pero brevemente les comento. Hemos trabajado estos talleres en 2 comunidades indígenas. Una son Boras de Brillo Nuevo, es el nombre completo, es una comunidad Bora. Para que se hagan una idea, para llegar tienes que hacer un viaje desde la localidad más cercana con electricidad y comunicación, llámese móviles, unas 5 horas en bote, y llegas a la comunidad. Y en la comunidad, para ponerlo en contexto, es una comunidad no aislada, pero es una comunidad que no tiene servicios básicos de comunicación. Nuevamente, no tienes cómo llamar por teléfono, no tienes electricidad. Para tener electricidad se hace con generadores a gasolina, etc. Entonces, trabajamos en esta comunidad, empezamos, bueno, vamos a ver cómo podemos tocar el tema y decidimos en un primer punto hacerlo de forma que son artistas, que utilicen el arte. Y se hicieron primeros dibujos, se hicieron tanto dibujos a pintura como plásticos, utilizando plastilina, utilizando materiales que puedan moldear. Fue bonito, fue muy interesante porque en sus cuadros, en sus trabajos han expuesto cómo les gustaría que se vea su chacra, su parcela, y al mismo tiempo cómo se ve en esa parcela cuando te afecta el que tengas problemas con tus vecinos, que tengas el problema de que te roben, tengas el problema de que tengas poca chambira porque no está reforestada, no tienes reforestación, estás perdiendo árboles. Entonces, eso fue el primer paso, hubo una muy bonita respuesta. Las personas que les hablo, los asistentes, son artistas, entonces tienen una capacidad para trabajar en diferentes artes, ya sea la producción chambira como dibujos. En los dibujos, en las imágenes y en el video han visto su trabajo, su capacidad. Luego resolvimos, hicimos algunas actividades en donde tenías que enfrentar directamente la pregunta buscándole respuestas, qué soluciones le dabas. También fue muy interesante ver la forma en que afrontaban buscar soluciones. Ya he encontrado soluciones prácticas, o sea, no idealizadas, en donde de forma práctica esto se puede hacer porque posiblemente hay una gran posibilidad de que dé resultados. Otro tema que también se ha tocado, que también es un problema en la zona, es el problema del narcotráfico. Hay comunidades que ven el tema, lamentablemente, muy pocas comunidades, pero sucede que están inmiscuidas en este tema. Entonces, también se aprovechó para ver cómo podrían asistir a este tipo lamentablemente, este tipo de situaciones, este tipo de realidades. Y en esta parte, viendo cómo tienen problemas tanto sociales como culturales, porque un gran problema tienen las comunidades es que las nuevas generaciones no están hablando, por ejemplo, el idioma, se está perdiendo mucho, el idioma en las generaciones más actuales ya muy pocas personas las hablan, muy pocos jóvenes las hablan, eso también fue una consulta. Y para eso se hicieron mandalas, por ejemplo. Se les propuso, oye, mira, podemos hacer mandalas. Los mandalas son estos. Esta es una forma de expresarte, una forma de expresar lo que te sientes y una forma de mostrar tu cultura. Las comunidades, no solo el idioma se está perdiendo, o sea, ya no se comparte, ya no se habla tanto. También la historia propia de la gente. Es decir, una comunidad en sus orígenes se ha formado en clanes. Es por ejemplo, que les menciono, se ha formado en clanes familiares. Y actualmente los jóvenes desconocen a qué clanes pertenecen. Entonces, en los mandalas, fueron trabajos muy lindos, muy hermosos, muchos estaban enfocados en la parte cultural, llámese mostrar de alguna forma la importancia del idioma, pero también mostrar de una forma la importancia de la historia del pueblo. Yo soy este clan. Es importante rescatar que soy este clan. Yo pertenezco a esta familia. Yo soy esta persona. Se expusieron los trabajos, para eso brevemente les comento, se dejó abierto al público. En una comunidad fue en su local comunal, en las comunidades tienen locales comunales, y en otra fue en el colegio de las comunidades que comparten. Hubo asistencia, fue una muy bonita asistencia, estuvieron docentes, profesores de las comunidades como autoridades y como jóvenes, en donde explicaron esta parte. La importancia de la chambira, importancia del rescate de la reforestación, mantener la reforestación y todo lo relacionado a la chambira, y el tema cultural. A nosotros nos gustó muchísimo la respuesta que hubo, porque nuevamente, el que abiertamente pudieran decir para sus vecinos, para la gente que venía a asistir, oye, es importante que los jóvenes hablen el idioma, no tengan vergüenza de hablar el idioma. El idioma ahora se va a perder si menos gente la habla al transcurso del tiempo. Tenemos que mantener nuestro idioma y estar orgullosos de eso. Igualmente con su historia ancestral, su historia cultural. ¿Por qué no se practica más? Etcétera, etcétera. Luego, para el final, hicimos unas preguntas personales. También tenemos videos de eso. Y básicamente, varios coincidieron en eso, en que les gustó muchísimo el poder hablar de esto, de hablar de cuánto les preocupa que la cultura se esté perdiendo, de que la chambira no se esté manejando bien, de que haya problemas sociales que hay que enfrentar, problemas que les afectan directamente. fue genial, porque en estas dos comunidades la respuesta fue muy grande. En la segunda comunidad, que es una comunidad Huitoto, que es otra etnia, también es muy parecido a los problemas. El Huitoto se habla muy poco en los jóvenes, pero muy poco. Cuando digo jóvenes me refiero que tú puedes poner a un promedio de chicos de 20 años, de esos 10 chicos de 20 años, posiblemente unos 2 o 3 hablarán el idioma. El resto habla español. Entienden un poco, pero no lo hablan. ¿Ya? Es como yo tratando de entender el inglés. Entonces, eso es importante para ellos. Es muy importante para ellos. La parte cultural, aquí hemos visto cuán importante es la parte cultural. El saberse identificar, yo soy indígena, yo estoy orgulloso de ser indígena, este es mi idioma, esta es mi historia. Y nada, tuvieron la oportunidad de poder hablar de ellos abiertamente, de esto abiertamente, y también tocar el tema de la importancia del trabajo de artesanía, cuán importante es en su vida. Ahí están las imágenes, están las mandalas, están la artesanía, brevemente. Hicieron también artesanía de Chambira de las mandalas, o una nueva mandala en Chambira. Fue también genial, porque a través de eso pudieron mostrar y expresarse. Nada, solo para terminar, porque creo que están mis 10 minutos, no trabajamos con artesanías, compramos artesanías de las comunidades como apoyo y tratamos de venderlo para que regrese en forma de talleres y en forma de cualquier asistencia social y en educación e incluso en salud. Si están interesados, les dejo en el chat la dirección de nuestra página y pueden ver nuestro trabajo. ¿Ya? Y si por ahí se animan a comprar una bonita artesanía, genial, bienvenido, compren, les va a quedar muy bonito. ¿Listo?
Gracias, Tulio. From Iquitos. Thank you, Tulio, very much. Indeed, that was a very interesting CAP. And of course, we tackle topics that are related to, in this case, the Chambira conservation and the environment, but in most of the workshops, we also are working on, as we say before, leadership, very important, self-esteem, identity, and that's one of the activities with the social identity mandalas, where they have to reflect about, where they're coming from, what are their important values, what are their dreams from the future, and then they made the mandalas with Chambira, and they replicate and include all of that information and all of that reflection in those wonderful, wonderful mandalas made in Chambira. So, and of course, the final event, the final community event to share, it's always part of our methodology that we consider is crucial for the success of our CAPs. So thank you, Tulio. Building empathy towards all forms of life. Mary is sharing. Thank you so much. And we are going to give a few minutes. If someone has any questions for Tulio, we are opening the space now. Tulio, estoy compartiendo a ver si alguien tiene alguna pregunta para hacerte. Y si no, vamos a continuar con nuestro siguiente presentador. Bueno, I guess no. Muchas gracias, Tulio, y gracias por todo el trabajo. Thank you very much for you and Secama and all the people participating in the Boras communities.
Muy bien. Nada, solamente agregar rapidito que estos talleres que hicimos fue gracias al enorme apoyo del Instituto de Acción Creativa. Así que muchas gracias a ustedes también. Todo eso fue posible gracias al enorme apoyo que nos dieron. Gracias.
Thank you, Tulio. Thank you. Okay, so we move on with the last presenter of today, Mario Ardany and Barbara Vallarino from Ecologic Development Fund, Ecologic with L, capital L, That was a discovery. And let's see the video of the mural.
Mi nombre es Andy Steven Castro Hernández, tengo 14 años y vengo a representar este mural. El mural significa para proteger los manglares, para que las aves hagan sus nidos y para viveros de muchos peces. Gracias a Ecologic por enseñarnos a proteger los manglares, el que nos enseña muchos talleres.
Mi nombre es Jessica Orvila Isabel Cocleiva, vivo en Tarzán Abajo y hoy le queremos presentar este dibujo que es un símbolo de nuestra área. Le agradecemos a los Ecologic que nos ha enseñado muchas cosas y muchos proyectos que han sido beneficio para toda nuestra comunidad.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bueno,
Excellent.
Mario y Bárbara.
Bueno, I can start just with a brief introduction, but thank you so much, Isabel and Christian, for partnering to organize this event. And thank you so much, Ewi and Tulio, for sharing your experiences. It's really, really great to learn about what you've been doing with Creative Action. And happy World Rainforest Day to everybody. My name is Barbara Vallarino. I'm the Executive Director of Ecologic Development Fund. And we work directly with rural and indigenous communities in Central America and Mexico to really support their roles as guardians of their forests and their natural resources. And we are very passionate about community-based conservation. We've been doing this since 1993. And we use a holistic model in doing this, incorporate several strategies, including the use of art and creative approaches to inspire the next generation of conservation leaders, particularly in our work with youth and teachers. And to do this, we collaborate with strategic partners, such as Creative Action Institute. We've actually been working together for, I think, more than 15 years in different projects in Honduras and Guatemala. And Mario de Leon, our Guatemala program officer, will share a little bit more specifically about some of the activities. Okay. Mario, adelante.
Muchas gracias a todos. Gracias por la oportunidad de participar en este foro. Queremos agradecerle mucho al Instituto de Acción Creativa. Para nosotros es un gran aliado en Guatemala para trabajar el tema de conservación y restauración de bosques. Nosotros estamos en Guatemala principalmente en 4 regiones en donde trabajamos con comunidades indígenas. Trabajamos principalmente en zonas donde existen áreas protegidas y tenemos varios años de coordinar con el instituto. Realmente nosotros trabajamos el tema de conservación y restauración, como les decía, pero aunado a esto, trabajamos mucho el tema de educación ambiental y desde hace muchos años hemos tenido esa alianza muy grande en donde principalmente hemos trabajado en primera instancia con profesores que han sido capacitados por los líderes del instituto. Posteriormente a la capacitación de estos profesores, nosotros hacemos lo posible de que estos profesores lleguen a realizar esas réplicas de las diferentes metodologías participativas que se han trabajado para que esto llegue a cambiar la forma de dar la clase muy narrativa por parte de los profesores y que sea una charla participativa en donde se combine el juego, el arte, la pintura, la danza, la cerámica y y realmente queden estos temas de la currícula, principalmente del curso de Ciencias Naturales, en algo que nunca se le olvide a los niños, como lo decía Tulio, algo que le llegue a estos niños y que realmente lo puedan transmitir a sus hermanos, a sus padres. Entonces, hemos tenido muy bonitas experiencias. Hubo una experiencia muy bonita que se trabajó en el tema de recolección de cómo se llama, se hizo un libro ilustrado en donde se recolectaron muchas historias de los abuelos, en donde los niños llegaron, se capacitaron los maestros, después los maestros escogieron a los niños y los niños llegaron a la casa de sus abuelitos y los abuelitos les contaron historias muy importantes de lo que realizaban dentro del bosque. Ellos llegaron y escribieron la historia del abuelito y posteriormente se elaboró un libro que tiene el nombre de Libro Ilustrado de los Rocosos, una bonita experiencia. Al final se sintetizó todo eso. Isabel jugó un papel muy importante en esto y existe un libro de ayuda que actualmente se sigue utilizando allá. También se trabajó otro tema relacionado a la conservación del bosque, al agua, a través de cerámica. Cada mujer que trabajó en este curso logró hacer un cuadro de cerámica que posteriormente fue colocado en un mural. Ese mural todavía conserva esos cuadros de cerámica y se colocó en un lugar muy tradicional de uno de los pueblos de Totonicapán, en donde las personas llegan a bañarse y cada vez que pasan por ahí, ellos miran el mural que se realizó. También hemos capacitado a nuestros técnicos en Guatemala sobre las metodologías participativas. Realmente no siempre podemos tener a la mano la presencia del personal del instituto, sino que realmente también hemos tratado de lograr que los compañeros de trabajo puedan aplicar estas metodologías participativas en los temas de educación ambiental, en el tema de, por ejemplo, la educación ambiental y después el tema de viveros con los niños, los huertos con los niños, en donde realmente jugando, cantando, se logran realizar algunas de las metas. También hemos aplicado mucho el tema de liderazgo creativo en acciones con mujeres, principalmente en Totonicapán, con el tema de reducción del uso de la leña a través de estufas ahorradoras de leña, en donde ya no se realiza una charla narrativa, ¿verdad?, sino que se realizan varias acciones en donde las señoras pintan, las señoras colorean, las señoras utilizan lana, utilizan pegamento, utilizan papeles de diferentes colores, o se recicla basura reciclable, en donde realmente a través de esas técnicas logramos llevar el mensaje de cómo utilizar adecuadamente la estufa ahorradora de leña y cómo conservar los bosques. También hubo una campaña donde se recicló bastante tapaderas plásticas y posteriormente a las tapaderas plásticas hicieron algunos murales. Estaba en construcción un parque y entonces a través de jóvenes y niños, principalmente líderes comunitarios, realmente nosotros trabajamos con una de las organizaciones más antiguas en Totonicapán, que son los 48, la Junta de Alcaldes de los 48 cantones. Tienen más de 500 años de estar organizados y ellos cada año eligen a sus autoridades. Y entonces dentro de el tema de liderazgo se trabajó ese tema ambiental, para que no solo el joven cuando llegue a ocupar estos cargos llegue sin conocer nada, ¿verdad?, sino que realmente ya conozcan algunas acciones creativas, algunas formas de toma de decisiones. En el presente mural que nosotros acabamos de ver, nosotros estamos realizando un proyecto de conservación de manglares en el Caribe de Guatemala. Realmente, cuando nosotros empezamos a trabajar el proyecto, le preguntábamos, bueno, ¿para qué usan el mangle? las personas decían, no, es que aquí nos vienen a robar el mangle. Y entonces empezamos a trabajar el tema de educación ambiental, principalmente con el tema de pintura, en donde una de las primeras etapas que se hizo fue hacer recorridos dentro de la comunidad. Se tomaron fotografías y se obtuvieron muy bonitas imágenes de la comunidad. Y en ese momento era el tema de educación ambiental para jóvenes. Pero cuando nos dimos cuenta nosotros que no solo los jóvenes estaban involucrados en la elaboración de este mural, sino que también las autoridades de la comunidad, jóvenes, pescadores, todos se quisieron involucrar en la elaboración de este mural. Realmente ellos quisieron dar a conocer dentro de ese mural qué es lo que hay en su comunidad. Ellos poseen un cayo, le llaman, que es el centro de esa imagen, que son 64 hectáreas de bosque de manglar y bosque tropical, que ellos conservan desde que se formó la comunidad. Este cayo está en litigio entre Guatemala y Belice. Es el límite territorial entre Guatemala y Belice y existen complicaciones por el tema de conservación. Realmente, y se ha logrado conservar a través de la participación comunitaria. Entonces se tomaron todas las imágenes, se recolectó toda la información de qué era lo que había en la comunidad y posteriormente se escogió uno de los lugares más concurridos de la comunidad para poder hacer el presente mural. Entonces, en este mural realmente se compraron nada más pinturas con los 3 colores primarios. Entonces los niños y los jóvenes empezaron a hacer mezclas. A través de las mezclas ellos pudieron definir una serie de colores. A través de las imágenes que ellos captaron dentro de los recorridos que se hicieron en lancha, se fueron plasmando dentro del mural las cuestiones más importantes que circulan alrededor de la conservación del mangle, ¿verdad? Hablaban de las aves, hablaban de las especies de camarones, peces, y realmente quisieron plasmar dentro de esa comunidad todo lo importante que es el tema de la conservación a través de una actividad de arte. Realmente fue algo muy bonito, muy impactante, y ahora cualquier persona que llega a la comunidad siempre pregunta, ¿y ese mural qué significa? Entonces ellos no le preguntan, sino que le dicen a las personas, ¿ustedes qué ven en ese mural, verdad? ¿Qué se imaginan con ese mural? Entonces realmente no solo aprendieron los niños, también se involucraron a los padres, y ahora llega mucho turista al lugar, muchas personas, ¿verdad? Entonces ya realmente es un mural que siempre es una información viva, es una imagen de cine que daba a conocer muchas cosas dentro del lugar donde se está desarrollando. Así como ese mural, están los otros murales que se realizaron en Totonicapán a través del apoyo del Instituto de Acción Creativa. Realmente han sido una herramienta muy importante para la conservación de bosques, para el tema de las reforestaciones, y queremos agradecerles bastante el tiempo, el espacio. Si tienen alguna pregunta, estamos para servirles.
Gracias, Mario. Thank you. ¡Qué claridad!
Hoy sí.
So if anyone has a question, Mario has few minutes to reply or to answer any of your questions about the mural, questions about the 48 cantones, Totonicapán, wonderful place. And if there are no questions, we understand that it's already 11 minutes past the time. We would like to try an activity to close the session and celebrate World Rainforest Day. And it's a little bit tricky here with this new platform, but Christian, let's try it. Should we try it?
Yeah, okay. So I was thinking about modifying the final activity that we had for today. Uh, since yeah, we're not that familiar with this platform and all the audio settings. Oh, there's a question. Where is the question? Let me see. Luisa is asking to Mario. Hay una pregunta para ti, Mario. Dice, ustedes han incorporado mucho la metodología como una organización y en varios proyectos, pero me imagino que hay proyectos que no lo utilizan la metodología creativa. ¿Hay una diferencia entre los proyectos que utilizan estas metodologías creativas?
Es que realmente desde que tuvimos esta alianza con el instituto, realmente en cualquier charla, en cualquier actividad, nosotros utilizamos esas metodologías. Por ejemplo, al momento de ubicarnos dentro de un salón, ya no nos ubicamos unos atrás de otros, sino que realmente hacemos una media luna, ¿verdad? O un círculo donde todos nos miramos, todos participamos, todos tenemos el mismo nivel de participación. La otra cosa es de que cuando empezamos la actividad, empezamos con el tema de hacer ¿cómo se llama? El carnetillo de presentación de manera creativa, donde, bueno, hagan su carnetillo de presentación de acuerdo a cómo ustedes amanecieron el día de hoy, y ahí nos vamos a... Entonces ya después, al momento de la presentación, bueno, yo me llamo Mario, yo hice un delfín, ¿verdad? Y con esto que estoy contento, ¿verdad? Y entonces como que en cada una de los talleres que nosotros realizamos, utilizamos más de alguna técnica de acción creativa, ¿verdad?
Y también creo que hemos tenido más colaboración directamente con Creative Action en Guatemala en términos de personal y capacitación, pero ha sido interesante durante la pandemia que Creative Action ha tenido la oportunidad de ofrecer estos cursos en línea y más de nuestro personal en Honduras y México también ha podido participar y aprender. Y bueno, esperamos poder seguir replicando y tal vez hacer un CAP, Creative Advocacy Practicum en México el próximo año.
Tal vez algo muy importante es de que ya no solo utilizamos estas metodologías para el tema de capacitaciones, sino que, por ejemplo, hace un par de meses se hizo un estudio de consumo de leña y entonces utilizamos herramientas creativas para el tema de la captación de la información. Utilizamos el Café Mundial, en donde todos pasaban informando en qué consistía el tema de la tala ilícita, ¿verdad? Entonces, así como eso, también en el tema de la identificación de las principales causas y problemas de la comunidad, también utilizamos el árbol de la vida, ¿verdad? Entonces, como que estas herramientas nos han cambiado a nosotros la forma de estar llevando una boleta y estarle preguntando a las personas, bueno, ¿qué hace usted con su leña, verdad? Sino que al final nos sirve mucho todo esto para capacitación, como también para el tema de hacer diagnósticos, el tema de captar información. Realmente, muchas gracias por habernos brindado todas estas herramientas, ¿verdad?
Respondiéndole a Luisa, entonces no hay actividad donde no usen alguna herramienta, no es de nuestra metodología. Así que bueno, genial. Gracias Mario. Gracias Tulio por compartir, gracias a todos por estar presente y probamos, Cristian, les pediríamos solamente que abran sus micrófonos.
Vamos a hacer una variación de la actividad que teníamos pensada. Vamos a hacerlo un poquito más rápido. Entonces, ahora que estamos celebrando World Rainforest Day, let's think about us as an element of that forest. So each of us that is listening to this lecture, just take a minute to close your eyes and think about a forest. Think about one element of the forest. Could be a rock, could be a tree, could be a bird, could be a mycelium, could be anything that you want. And try to identify yourself with that element. You could be a tree, you could be anything that you like. So take 30 seconds just to think about that element of the forest. And when we are ready, I just share a link in our chat, in the session chat. Please go to that link. It's a whiteboard link, and try to draw something. Let's try to create a forest together with all of the elements that you have think about. Yeah, we have like 30 seconds to keep adding to that white canvas, and we all together can create a forest. We can all be part of this digital forest for today. Ya, pues entonces podemos ir al link que he compartido en el chat y vamos a hacer ese bosque de forma colectiva, ¿verdad? Vamos a convertirnos en un bosque virtual colectivo el día de hoy y a ver qué tal, a ver qué sale. Por ahí vemos viento, por ahí vemos árboles. Vamos a darnos un minutito para poder ir incluyendo todos estos elementos. Yeah, while we keep drawing, I'm going to just share a little bit about my experience of working with all our partners and with all these creative methodologies. And for me, it's a privilege just to be able to talk with all these amazing people, making all these amazing projects in such different contexts. That what comes to my mind is exactly this that we're drawing. It's all this diversity, all this taking all the spaces available and putting all together. Sometimes we are in these coaching calls or in these calls with our partners and we are, oh yeah, we have this activity, but what if we modify this a little bit? While we were planning one of our caps with Ecologic, was like a lot of ideas, just was brainstorming and what if we do this, and then we have like 20 different ideas. And when we were preparing the cap with Secamia, with the mandalas, they were like, wait, what if we do birds? What if we do many different kinds of art products? So I think that exchange it's what brings all this diversity. And arts definitely it are a great tool. And it's not just a tool. Sometimes it's part of the essence itself of the cap. And one of the things that I also like a lot in all these experiences is how participants many times express, hey, I didn't know that we could use art, or many people have this idea that you need to be an artist in order to create art, right? And community art is it's about doing exactly what we're doing in this whiteboard, in this white canvas, that is just expressing, sharing ideas. And yeah, I don't know if you saw my tree, my little tree there in the middle of the whiteboard. It was kind of lame, I guess, not that artistic. And now that we all added a little bit to this whiteboard, we can see all this diversity, we can see all these colors, and it's not lame anymore, you know. So I think that's about art, right? Adding, sharing, expressing. It's not about only the final product. Of course, that now that I'm looking at this whiteboard, I can see beauty there, but it's not the final goal. It's about sharing, having fun, getting to know other people, other realities. Maybe we're thinking about the forest here by my side, that I don't have any palms in my forest, but now that you added these palms that were next to your house, maybe, or in the forest that you work, or the forest that you like better, you can see rain, you can see all these different pieces. It's diversity, right? So that's, I think that's one of the one of the things that I like the most about this privileged position that I have as part of the Creative Action Institute, and working with all these amazing partners, it's exactly this. So yeah, thank you so much. I would like to share also this drawing, this canvas with all of you to have this memory of this session that we had today. So I just want to give a couple of minutes maybe to any of our partners or any of you that are listening to this session to share some final ideas, and maybe you could create any kind of analogy with this drawing that you're making, or yeah, any takeaway of these conversations that we had today. Te veo con ganas de hablar, Bárbara.
No, I was just going to say gracias. Thank you, Christian. And yeah, great to collaborate on this panel. And we need to do it again sometime.
Mario, Turio, algunas palabras ahí de despedida, cierre.
Bueno, nada, igual que Bárbara, agradecer que nos hayan considerado y ha sido muy interesante participar en este evento, el primero que participo de este tipo, y estamos para sus servicios, para lo que quieran. Nos avisan cualquier cosa, mientras sea legal, genial. No, muchas gracias por todo.
Gracias, Cristian.
Gracias, Nalia, también ahí por, thank you, Nalia, for your comments. And and we are done for today, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.